In looking back, I guess the whole thing really started in late February or early March. I had retired from teaching the previous June and was pretty much okay with the concept of not working until September, when the kids started going back to school, and I didn't. My wife, who was several years younger than me, was still working and enjoying it. In fact, she was the one who suggested that I visit the local senior center to see what it had to offer during the day while she worked. She knew that although I loved to read and watch movies, I had soon grown tired of both early in retirement. I had heard the old criticism about senior centers. Who wants to hang around with those old people? But as I looked in the mirror one morning, I realized that I wasn't 18 anymore, but was indeed one of those old people. I decided to check out the senior center, located on the other side of town not far from my house. I soon became a regular each day, playing poker and shooting pool and loving it. On Tuesdays, I even joined a writer's workshop, which I guess has led me to tell this story. Years and years of playing softball had eroded the cartilage in both knee joints, and I could barely walk without a cane. But my pool cue stick sort of served as one as I maneuvered around the table planning my shots. As for cards, sitting in a chair and playing was pain-free, except for some apparently growing arthritis in my hands. But still, as I said, life was good. New things to do and new friends. My wife had noticed the change in me when we met for dinner each weekday. Happy wife, happy life. But back to when it really started. We were shooting pool when one of the guys upset the table and knocked coffee on the floor. I got down on my sore knees and began soaking the coffee up in the towels, and suddenly noticed a woman on all fours beside me, smiling and doing the same thing. Not a word, but what a smile. We worked together, and in a short while had cleaned up the mess. Together we headed to the restrooms to wash our hands. Before entering the men's restroom, I turned and she had in her right hand a plastic bottle. She gently grabbed my hands and squirted something from the bottle in each hand, which I assumed was some type of cleansing cream. I smiled and nodded and went inside the men's restroom and washed my hands as she disappeared into the women's restroom. The rest of the day was uneventful, and my buddies and I laughed and joked around the pool table the rest of the afternoon. The next day at the senior center found me playing cards in the morning and shooting pool in the afternoon. But I did notice something different. My hands weren't quite as stiff dealing the cards. And while shooting pool, I found that I didn't have to use my cue stick as much as a crutch ambling around the table. Just before leaving to go home, I went to the restroom. I peeked in and saw the same cleaning woman wiping the counter as she carefully poured liquid into the soap dish from the same plastic container she had had the day before. Next day, same thing. My hands and knees felt better. I washed my hands 5 times that day in the same restroom all the guys used. Then things really started to change. I noticed Jimmy stopped wearing his glasses. He said he could see better without them when he shot. 90-year-old John showed up without his cane. George told me he had started walking 3 miles in the evenings around town. Not long ago, the music and the activity in the dance class seemed a little ho-hum, as did the level of the activity of the participants. But lately, the music had become thumping and upbeat, and the dancers were literally sweating to the beat of the pulsating music. I had even noticed something different going on in the 2 rooms devoted to dance exercise classes and to table tennis. The 6 to 8 people who played table tennis now seemed to chase balls all over their room in their sweat-soaked shirts. These people shared the same restrooms down the hall that my pool shooting friends used. We all seemed to agree that we felt better and decided it must be because spring was in the air. But I knew it wasn't something in the air. It was something in the soap. Believe it or not, my wife and I were going to play 9 holes of golf at a par 3 course nearby. This from a guy that not long ago could barely make it around a pool table. It was about 3 weeks after I first saw her that I saw the cleaning lady wearing her usual dark blue apron. I wondered if she needed a ride. She smiled as usual and shook her head no. I looked down and saw a small red bag on the ground. It must have been her lunch bag, which she forgot to take with her. The following morning was a Wednesday, and we had our usual current events class. George, the town's regular 3-mile walker, mentioned a story he had heard on the local morning news about a fire in the woods adjacent to the senior center, and reports of a bright flash in the sky just before dawn. Later that morning, I searched for my friend to return her lunchbox, which was still in my car. She was not to be found. The people at the front desk said she didn't come in that day, or the next, or the next. In fact, we never saw her again. I'll never forget that smile. Jimmy is back to wearing his glasses again. Old John is using his cane every day. And George tells me that he has stopped walking because of his knees. As for me, I'm still feeling pretty good. Not great, but good. I'm careful not to use too much of what is in the big plastic container in the red bag in the back of my closet.